final night chat of 2022, and Morgan just popped some champagne because we are sent back, sipping and enjoying what we just witnessed tonight at the G1C. It went down to the wire, and big shot after big shot. Teams exchanging blows left and right, but the Kings come out on top, beating the Utah Jazz at Golden One Center 126 to 125, and what a game it was. Don't call him Sabonis, call him Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. Domantas Sabonis did not miss a shot. Kevin Huerter was a monster with a career night, and Fox had a big fourth quarter. Kings get the win. They're now 19 and 15. This time last year, they were 15 and 22. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
What another elite recap to start the show. Wow, Deuce. I am feeding you far too many compliments in the span of like 5 minutes. This is not healthy for anybody.
How are you doing tonight, Mo?
Well, obviously I'm doing great. You're getting compliments. Kings win. I'm drinking a bottle of bubbly. Like, it's a great way to finish off 2022. We already said that with a W. You know, it just, there's something about it that feels different, especially having to grind this one out against a team that has some weapons.
It was also closing out the homestand the right way.
Yes.
Right. Kind of a disappointing start to the homestand when you lose to the Hornets, you lose to the Wizards. Yet that game against the Nuggets without Sabonis, you lost. But they responded. It's not exactly how the Kings drew it up, doing this at home during this homestand. But you get back-to-back wins, one over the Nuggets and one over a Jazz team that's really good.
Yeah.
They've got some legit weapons, including Markkanen, who was tremendous tonight. 36 for him. Looks like an all-star. But, man, where do you start with this one, Morgan, in this Kings win?
As we start with somebody, and I think I have someone I want to start with first, and it was the big shot at the end, Kevin Huerter. Oof. Let's start with all the good. But I did want to say, I came into this game thinking, it's one of those games that you should win, But when I look at it in that bundle of Charlotte, Washington Wizards, and then the Utah Jazz, and the Jazz have been such a surprisingly good team with good individuals on the squad, and not to say like Washington doesn't have that either, but at the same time, it was still going to be a different type of challenge of this is one of those teams you're supposed to be, and especially with the way that they've been playing up and down since November. Yeah,
but you say should win just because it's on your home floor, right? Because this is a really good team. They've had some nice wins this year.
No, and that's my whole point to all of that, Deuce. So.
Well, let's talk about Kevin Huerter because he had that big shot late.
Fox into the front court, into the paint, pulls up, trying to tie it around a two-bouncer, no good. Kept alive by the Kings. Back to Fox, floater, way short, no good. Rebound, grabbed by Harrison Barnes. Swings to Huerter, three on the way. He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. 30 points, a season high for Huerter, and it's 9.2 seconds to go in the ball game. It's also a career high for Kevin Huerter. His previous best came when he was playing for Atlanta in the 2019 campaign at Philly when he had 29.
He finishes with 30 points, 12 of 18 shooting, 6 of 10 from downtown. Morgan Reagan. He was hitting big shots. He's playing in control. In the fourth quarter, he had 15 on 6 of 8 and hit 3 of 4 from downtown in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was not only coming off into this game hot, hitting some of his threes early, but the way that he finished off this game is really where you give him all the love in those big moments, that big shot right there. And it was cool because he only had 6 points in that last game. In that Nuggets win, that Malik Monk had 30. And we got to talk to him after the game, and I asked him something about, hey, what makes this win so special? Career high and a special fourth quarter for you. And he said, really, it was how each teammate, a different night, they could just be on. And he's like, the other night, like, I got to sit back and watch other guys, really succeed and flourish on the floor. And that's what he got to be tonight.
And that's not always an easy thing to do when you have to one night be, starting playing 30 minutes. And then the next night you're playing 17 and watching your team from the bench. Yeah. He stayed ready. It's a great teammate. Here's what he had to say after the game.
Great feeling, obviously. Just for us to keep that possession alive. I think we had 2 offensive rebounds in there. Fox trying to get to the bucket, just keeping that ball alive. It's a will to win just by everybody who was on the court. And I'd missed one from the same spot about a minute earlier. Was definitely wanted it back, and was able to knock down the second one.
It was part of a huge sequence. I thought down the stretch, too, Utah did some interesting things that forced Mike Brown's hand. They loved having Davion Mitchell, and we're going to get to him in a second. But he had to take Davion Mitchell out with a minute 31 to go because Will Hardy was like, I'm going big. I'm putting Kessler in there, Markkanen in there. I'm putting Olynyk. You're going to need some big bodies in there to get a rebound. So Brown was like, all right, Keegan Murray, get on in there. Keegan doing a good job, making that nice extra pass to Huerter, who hit that big-time shot. And it was such a satisfying moment at Golden One Center because it was so incredibly loud after that shot by Kevin Huerter.
Yes.
And I was talking to multiple coaches before the game. I talked to Luke Laux a little bit, talked to Dutch Gately, two of the Kings' new assistants. Luke was in Phoenix last year before that, Golden State. Dutch was in Charlotte before in San Antonio. And I was asking both of them, like, dude, what was that for you last game? The vibes. And both of them were like, it's crazy that it was that loud for a Wednesday night game in December.
Let's go.
And Luke said, it was as loud as playoff games at Oracle when I was with the Warriors back in the day. So they're feeling it. And you have to imagine as a player like Kevin Huerter coming from Atlanta. No offense to there's some loyal Hawks fans, but let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
Not a crazy home court advantage, right? You look at them, a lot of times it's empty, even with a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the place was raucous tonight. And if you're a player, you want to play in an atmosphere like that. You feed off that.
And anybody that's ever been an athlete in their life, or even a performer in their life, right? When a crowd just goes wild, it pops for you. Like, think about what wrestlers feel like. It brings a certain type of energy and adrenaline to your body and sometimes to an entire team. And so it is so cool that Kings can have that home court advantage. And one of the things that you shared with me before the game was Markkanen talking about, playing up against the Kings at Golden One Center. What are you trying to do? And he's like, trying to avoid the beam. Trying to avoid the beam. And I love that line because it's like, yep, because if that beam's coming, shit's getting louder in Golden One Center.
Yeah, the light the beam chants were crazy tonight after that Huerter three-pointer to put the Kings up for good. So Huerter bounced back in a big way, and I thought he just had great balance. He was getting to his spots. He also mentioned after the game, he goes, look, I got off to a really hot start this season, and teams started defending me differently, and tonight I was just making sure to stay aggressive. And he was. He wasn't just settling for three-pointers. He was in the mid-range. He was attacking. I thought it was great tonight. And, of course, it helps when you knock down your outside shots. I just felt like he was going through a stretch where even with some of the outside shots weren't falling, you're like, that's got to fall at some point.
Yeah.
And they definitely fell tonight.
You could feel a different type of confidence from him coming into this game. And sometimes, it's just guys are going to have different types of nights. And you just hope that they could be more consistent with Kevin Huerter like we saw in the beginning of the season, right? Like, we knew at some point it would go down, but when he started hitting a slump, that's when it was like, okay, when do you get out of this slump? He has found little ways in games to make an impact, but a game like this is exactly what he needed going into the new year.
And did you see what Kendrick Perkins tweeted out after the game? He says, the Hawks front office got some explaining to do. I don't know how in the hell they traded Kevin Huerter. I guess they didn't realize how important having a sniper is. Don't mind me, though, and carry the hell on.
Oh.
And I believe Kevin Huerter did like that tweet.
Oh, give it to them.
No, but I just it was great for Kevin to bounce back and have an awesome night. I feel like we talk about Sabonis all the time, so we're gonna save him for a second.
Okay, we'll save him.
Did we do enough Huerter? Do you have anything else to say about Kevin Huerter?
Yeah, no. I think that's enough. Huerter, career high 30, good for him.
What about that last sequence though? The offensive rebounds, just attacking. Fox had those two shots. How did he miss that?
And those are his shots.
Yeah, they were short, and he was exhausted. And by the way, another game where Fox played the entire fourth quarter. He came back into the game in the third quarter, Morgan, with 2:58 to play. He played the rest of the game, and reminding you that last game he was in from the 2:05 mark all the way until the end too. So second straight game where he's playing big time crunch time minutes, and he did have 10 points in the fourth quarter.
He's needed. It's important. You even saw the way that he was creating there at the end. Why do you think Kevin Huerter was so wide open? Because the defense collapsed in the paint on De'Aaron Fox. I mean, not only because that everyone was crashing the boards as well, right? Trying to get that rebound. Who got the rebound? The multiple rebounds. The Kings did a fantastic job pushing it back out and finding the open man with that one more swing pass to Kevin Huerter, who you could tell he was like ready for it. It was like, no, I got it this time. Just give it to me. And he did it.
Here's what Mike Brown had to say about that final sequence.
I saw our guys being relentless. I thought Foxy got his hand on one. I thought Domas got his hand maybe on the other. And so it was just a will to go get it. And, when you see that, again, that's the competitive spirit that you want to see night in and night out, because that in itself can help you win games. You can end up playing an ugly game, but if your competitive spirit's there, if you compete, you're going to have a good chance to win.
And they did. They had 10 offensive rebounds that turned into 16 second chance points in this game, including that big one for 3 late.
They battled. The effort was incredible by this entire squad. That's what I loved. Like, even when you saw certain things go wrong, Jordan Clarkson started going off early in that third quarter, and things were just getting, chipping away when they had a 10-point lead. And every time you saw something happen, you never saw them give up in their body language, give up in the way that they played, kept battling through. And truly, not only on that last offensive possession, the way they battled for those rebounds, but then that last defensive possession, Harrison Barnes, wonderful job contesting that shot, marking in. And then Davion Mitchell with the box out.
Let's rewind that, though, right before that, right? Because they had the initial inbound after the play, right? Timeout. And Fox did a great job of swiping down, and the ball was deflected, goes off Barnes out of bounds on that marking and drive. I lost my mind that sequence. I threw my headset going, I can't, it's Kings ball. And the replay comes up and it's like, oh, that was off Barnes. But anyway, just him deflecting that out of bounds. Great. Make them take it out again. You're right. Barnes played some nice defense, and then Mitchell with the box out. So, yeah, fantastic by the Sacramento Kings. Late game.
Executing.
You're up 119, 111 with under 3 to play. You feel like you got to win that game. And Utah would not go away. Clarkson with some big plays, getting to the line. Markkanen was just outrageous. Good for him.
And Will Hardy with those rotations, though.
That
just
was a
smart head coach.
It was like, hey, you know what? We're going to tweak some things. Will Hardy, who, by the way, is 34 years old.
Little shit.
Yeah, you little shit.
You little shit.
You
You
little
young.
You're a little young NBA coach.
Why I oughta.
You can tell this is the final show of 2022.
Correct.
All right. Next guy we're going to give some love to tonight, Davion Mitchell.
Oh, yes. It's time. He deserves it.
Last game, that guy was unbelievable. Tonight, he gets into the game, and I liked what we saw tonight. We saw a little more Fox-Mitchell lineups tonight, because Mitchell's like, you got to play me. You got to keep me on the floor. He had such a huge impact on this game. Colin Sexton is a really good young player who last year, the ACL thing. He's tough. He had been playing well since coming back from this last injury, shooting over 54%, over 60% from 3. He can be lethal at times. Davion Mitchell had him in handcuffs.
He did.
Davion Mitchell clamped his ass down.
Clamped.
And that's another thing that the crowd feeds off of, and then in turn, Davion feeds off of it more. He was all over him. He was forcing him into some tough looks. Even when he made one on Mitchell, it was tough.
Oh, yeah. Whenever he made one on Mitchell, I was like, how the hell did he do that? But then so many other times, Mitchell just, I always use this word when describing Davion Mitchell's defense, the disruption he adds, he brings with his defensive play, especially his on-ball defense, is just on another level. Because think about it just from this perspective, you guys, as a point guard, you're dribbling, eyes up, you're at the NBA level, right? You got a good feel for the ball. But then when you have someone actively just digging, their hands are going. So once in a while, you're having to look back down at the ball. Your eyes aren't up. You're not seeing the entire floor. Your vision is different. So just those little things matter. It matters an entire way to break down an opponent's offense. And just Davion Mitchell is like the head of the snake when it comes to that lately.
How about the play in the first quarter when he literally ripped the ball from Sexton?
Oh, yeah.
Keegan gets it, gives it back to him, and he throws the lob.
Here's Colin Sexton. The ball's ripped out of his hands. Steal. It's grabbed by Keegan Murray after the rip away by Davion. Lead pass. Malik Monk on the receiving end of the alley-oop. And that was certainly crowd-pleasing, to say the least. 24-21 Sacramento. Davion Mitchell doing it on both ends of the floor, and Malik Monk above the iron to finish it off.
Davion did it on Sexton. He got in the Clarkson, drew an offensive foul on him. He does it like every single game. I know we all want to get to a point where Davion is more consistent offensively tonight, but when you look at his under 23 minutes tonight and he had 6 points, 3 assists, if you just were one of those stat hoes, as Morgan calls you,
Yes, stat hoe.
you'd be like, oh, whatever. What did he do? What did he do?
You didn't watch the game.
Huge impact on this game tonight.
Facts.
And he was money for Sacramento.
Yeah, it's interesting when you do look at that stat line, and I know you want him to contribute on that offensive end, but truly, Deuce, seeing him play the amount of minutes he did tonight too, with 23 minutes, it was like he earned it. He kept going too. He was like, okay, I can feed off the crowd. I can feed off my team. That was the other thing too, because I know we'll get to him, but something that just brought me so much joy was how much joy Domantas Sabonis was playing with every time that he saw his guy getting up and guys, and was just like slapping his hand and like it's smiling and getting excited for him and for so many others.
Sabonis is just
Special.
amazing. Just amazing. And here he is again, second game back, dominated the game. He did not miss a shot. And after the game, he was asked about that. He goes, I missed that free throw, though.
Yes.
He was mad because he missed that free throw. Sabonis tonight, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists on 12 of 12 shooting. He hit both of his threes. All of a sudden, he's knocking down threes left and right, well over 40% from three. The only bad thing tonight, though, 7 turnovers for Sabonis.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
No, and it's like, I know I shouldn't sit here and say it's gonna happen, because it's like, no, I can break down and criticize what was wrong, and it's like, yeah, like you got to do better at times, especially against a team like the Jazz, who were doing a great job capitalizing off of the Kings' mistakes at times, just really pushing the ball and doing things that I wasn't even expecting the Jazz to do.
You know, the Jazz came into this game allowing the most points in the paint in the NBA and the most fast break points in the NBA. And I was like, Sabonis is going to be able to have his way. And it felt like he was finishing at ease at the basket. Like the best guy that maybe gave them a slight chance at making it more difficult on him was Kessler.
Yeah.
But he's a rookie, and you could just tell, like, Sabonis is just stronger than Kessler. By the way, Walker Kessler is nice, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm most excited about the fact that now the three-pointer is coming. It's becoming a little more reliable now. I mean, his month of December has been crazy. Do I expect him to shoot 40% for the entire season? No. But, like, again, if Sabonis is shooting 35% from three, you're going to take it, because you talk about that opening up things for this Kings offense, who's already, they're already capable with 3-point shooting, even though they went in a slight funk recently. You've got Huerter, you got Keegan, who can knock down the three at an efficient rate. And then you add in Malik Monk, who can get hot from the outside. Lyles can stretch the floor. And now if Sabonis can do it, and you already know what damage he could do inside, it makes the Kings offense super potent.
You sent me this before the game, talking about Sabonis's numbers in just December, and just before tonight's game, averaging 21 points a game, 15 boards, 7 assists on 66% shooting from the field, 64% from three.
And this month, 64% from three
from
going
three,
into tonight.
you guys. And then watching him tonight, he hit 2, right? I think he hit 2
Yeah,
threes.
he was 2 of 2.
2 of 2, of course. And the threes that he took were timely. The shot selection was preferred, you could say. It was just like he felt at one time Kelly Olynyk was totally in drop coverage and was like, well, I feel good. I have this. The ball has moved around enough. Boom. Just high IQ player that is now hitting his outside shot.
He's got a fractured thumb, by the way.
Oh, and his thumb's all effed up. So.
Hey, Kevin Huerter, what do you think about Sabonis tonight?
I mean, the guy's got a broken thumb. He didn't miss a shot. So, he's playing all NBA level basketball. He's been doing it all month. I'm sure you guys know better than me. I'm not sure what his numbers are for this month, but it seems like every game he's doing this. It's 28 and 11, 12 for 12. We didn't know that. Yeah, I think I went on after the game. Someone texted me that Domas had missed a shot. It's just you come to expect it almost. It's just another game for him.
But how about De'Aaron?
Kings go inside. Fox powers down a two-hand flush from the left baseline, and he was fouled. And my goodness, that one came out of nowhere. And Fox just viciously attacking the iron, and he'll get an and one. He posterized Kelly Olynyk. Oh my goodness.
That was pretty sweet.
Oh, it was amazing the way that he threw it down with two hands and just hung on the rim for a second longer. And I hope you still have one more dunk that you're thinking of.
I don't know.
Keegan Murray, beginning of the game.
Oh my God, Keegan!
You're welcome.
Surprised me.
It surprised everyone.
In transition, Keegan was like, "I'm going strong."
I wish I asked him about it. I didn't because I just didn't think of it. But it was like I was trying to explain him as soft-spoken, like just his personality, and then in moments like that, his competitive nature, intensity, just like flies through. I love when he plays like that. Love.
Let's talk about De'Aaron Fox. He got off to a slow start shooting-wise.
Yeah.
Wasn't really in any rhythm tonight, but he was still trying to find ways to impact things tonight. He finished with 24 points. He did it on 10 of 24, so not good shooting. 1 of 5 from 3, but he had 10 assists in this game and just 1 turnover. And then late in the game, I felt like he was making plays. He had 11 points in the fourth quarter along with 4 assists on 4 of 10 shooting.
Obviously, I would love if he was starting from the beginning of the game, setting the tone on a different level. But the great thing is this team has enough guys that can also get theirs and find their rhythm early. And so if it can't be De'Aaron Fox, guess what he has been consistent at? Being elite in crunch time minutes, being the guy that you can go to make practically any type of shot. That's why when he missed those last 2 bunnies, I was like, those are the ones he hasn't missed since last year, right?
He looked a little gassed maybe in that moment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Legs,
that's the only thing I can think of.
But that's going to happen at times. And I think also he was trying to put a certain finesse on it too. And was like, okay, I don't want to go to, relying on his form rather than not depending on his legs because he knew he was gassed, but it didn't matter. He battled it out for some offensive rebounds to get it back out to Kevin Huerter too.
Hey, Kevin Huerter, what do you think of De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, his aggressiveness. I think, De'Aaron is one of those elite players in the league. I think to truly be elite in this league, separate yourself, you have to have that mid-range game. All the best players do. It's a shot that every team, every coach tells you to stay away from, but the best scorers in the NBA score in the mid-range, and De'Aaron scores in the mid-range. It's probably his best shot. I feel like he can get to it anytime he wants. Doesn't matter really who's guarding him. If it's somebody bigger, he's quicker than him. He goes by him. It's someone smaller. He posts guys up from 15 feet and just gets to his spots. And it feels like at the end of the game he just slows it down and he gets to his spots. And he continuously all year has knocked down shots when we needed him to. And everybody else, like I said, around him just has to be there and be ready to shoot when he kicks it out.
Yeah, Fox is playing at a very high level, and his critics will get mad if he gets off to a slow start or he doesn't shoot efficiently all the time. Here's the reality. He's been more efficient this year than he's ever been. Yeah. And he went through a slump a little bit this season, and all guys are going to go through a slump. I know it probably doesn't feel like it, but Sabonis is probably going to have a stretch of games this year where he goes through a slump. Kevin Huerter is going to have that stretch, but Fox has been playing some pretty good basketball recently. You think about this homestand, he had the game against the Lakers, a 37-point game against the Hornets. They lost that game, but he was playing some efficient basketball, getting to his spots. And then tonight, sometimes the shots don't fall, but he kept with it, and he still had an impact on the game, setting up his teammates and hit some big shots in the fourth quarter. So Fox is playing near an all-star level right now, and then they have another guy in Sabonis who is just put him in. Like, they could announce tomorrow he's an all-star. There's no doubt about it. The guy's playing like an all-NBA guy. Yeah, he's playing like a top 15 player in the league right now.
Facts. I mean, it's not even a hot take or, hey, you're in Sacramento, so of course you're saying that. You're hearing this from national writers. You're hearing this from the national media. It's agreed upon. And also, just going off of Fox too, another night with over 10 assists. So not only is he finding his guys, but you know how much easier it is if you are creating so much chaos that it's allowing your guy to get an even better shot off. That's what he's doing, right? It's not like a guy is just like reaching as De'Aaron is going to the basket. They're having to take 2 steps in, which is taking them 2 steps further off the guy that they're guarding from beyond the arc, giving them a better look at the basket.
This is from our friends over at cleaningtheglass.com. They have amazing numbers about teams and players. And you look at De'Aaron Fox, 90th percentile in effective field goal percentage at his position. At the rim, 95th percent. He's 74% at the rim this year. His short mid-range, 55%. Long mid-range, 45%. All mid-range, 51%. The three-point, the corner, he doesn't take a lot of them. 6 of 21, not great. That's 29%. Non-corner, 35%. Overall, 34% from three. That's not a great number, but when you compare it to the rest of his career, it's one of his better numbers. And if he can try to stay consistent and be like, hey, can you get to 35? Can you get to 36 maybe? And you're still efficient from the mid-range and at the rim. And oh, by the way, this is the best he's ever shot at the free throw line, right? He's right around 79% from the free throw line. So Fox has stepped up in a big-time way, and he's got help now. And I think that matters too. You know, I think Fox has a lot of critics in Sacramento because he hasn't been on winning teams. It hasn't been all of his fault. Some of it has, but he has clearly gotten better. He's clearly worked on his game, and he plays so well off of Sabonis.